Hello there. I was looking back at trying to look at some classic Who books. They were hidden behind all these tapes. Who would have done such a thing? So, like when it comes to the show, there has been a lot of enemies that have, given the show a lot of popularity. Like, say, whether it was the Daleks, you have the Cybermen, heck, you even have, like, say, more, like, ones that, like, say, the Weeping Angels and all that. But there are a lot of enemies, of the Doctor that are just, like, say, what were they thinking when they came up with this idea? Or sometimes they're just like, this is just plain silly. So, let's back at some of the worst Doctor Who enemies. And before we get into that, I have a question for you. We are... for you. So number 5 was Sentient Oil. So this was the first enemy that appeared with the companion of Bill, who was a companion of the 12th Doctor, in which, like, say, okay, he has now lost Clara, so now he has to have a new companion. So, and this was, like, a enemy that took the form of a young woman who Bill had feelings for.
Hey, still making eyes at a puddle.
And the idea of it, like, say, okay, this like enemy can appear like in any form of, like liquid. And while the idea of, like, like, say, suddenly it can be rather creepy in a way, at the same time I find the idea a bit more tragic in a way. Like, like, in a way, like, say, the idea of, like, say, something is taking the form of the last, like, that significant person that you had, like, an interest in, and in a way, it can be chasing you, in a way.
Promise you won't go. Promise.
So yeah, I kind of think the idea of this is fairly good, in a way. But at the same time, yeah, I find it interesting. And number 4, we had the Candyman, with a K. Well, this was a enemy that appeared in the 7th Doctor's run, with it being an assassin that kills its victims using candy.
Tails. Well,
that would be telling.
You're playing a dangerous game, Candyman. That red-hot poker could cut through you like a knife through butterscotch.
I have to bow, however reluctantly, to your logic, which leaves me only one alternative.
I just said that, yes. The look of it can be a little bit unsettling. At least I think so. Mostly because it is, like, its head is a, like those, like candy machines, you would see at, outside of stores and all that back in the 90s. But the idea for it is rather silly. But I'm going to be honest and say, that's okay. Sometimes we have to have those silly designs when it comes to Who. And yeah, like, this was a design that really didn't really grab much. Number 3 was the Quarks. So when we look back at it, a lot of enemies, all we try to go and say, okay, the Daleks, really big. Can we try to recreate that lightning in a bottle of an enemy? Well, the Quarks, this was an enemy that only appeared once in the history show, and apparently once was enough for them to never get a return.
Hey, Doctor! Doctor! David, don't do it! Doctor, look! Oh, my word!
Next task. Shall we destroy? Shall we destroy?
With these enemies being portrayed by young choir actors, in which, like, they giggled, and they which made weird noises. And, yeah, they are strange looking, I would say. And at the same time, I can understand, like, why they perhaps didn't really gain much steam when it comes to enemies in the show. Number 2 was the Epsilorf. So do you remember the episode Love and Monsters, which was an episode that appeared in, say the revival? Well, in this episode, the monster is able to absorb the faces of others onto its body.
Oh, what's the matter? Have you given up so soon?
There's no point. Where would I go? Everything I ever wanted.
It's been absorbed.
Oh, Elton, don't say that.
But it's true!
Then join us. Join us, little man.
And yeah, the idea of it is creepy, I will say. Suddenly you are not able to, you basically are not able to control, and then basically you are at the whim of this creature. But at the same time, the look of it, just kind of plain bad. I mean, the story for the episode isn't bad. A group of characters, they in a way get manipulated to try to figure, say, where the Doctor can be, in a way. So that he can, take over the Doctor, in a way.
Clom. Yes, and I'll return there victorious once I possess your travelling machine.
Well, that's never gonna happen.
So, yeah. I think the look of it, it can be just absolutely ridiculous. And number 1, though, was the Slothine. Well, these were enemies that were basically the first, the enemy that appeared in the first season of the revival, in which they were an alien race that disguised themselves as humans. But one thing that they always did was, when they were always nervous, they just farted.
Take me first! Take me!
Out with me! Who the hell are you?
Harriet Jones, MD for Flight Hill.
Nice to meet you.
And yeah, I gotta say, the look of them, it can be pretty cool. It's classic, science fiction in a way. At the same time, I guess, say the fact that they would return quite a bit would be kind of tiresome. In that, they would appear again, say, with the, one of the final times with the ninth Doctor, in which he is, trying to say, okay, I will spare you, or in a way. When one of them takes the form of the individual in charge of, the government. But eventually after that, these aliens would appear in the Sarah Jane Smith adventures. So, I'd say that, yes, the idea of them would probably, say, okay, was at first, say, okay, it's interesting, yet at the same time, it was a enemy of aliens that perhaps just ran its course.
Great Britain. End of lesson.
But what is, enemy, from the Doctor that you, think about and go, say, wait, why? Or what? And all that. Or what were they thinking, kind of deal? Put your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know, and I'll see you next time.